कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे. It's a very popular Hindi song which translates to people will always have something to say. It's their job. So just fuck all this shit and don't waste your time listening to what others have to say. Those of you who have watched Puzhu will know why I started with this reference. I just wish Kuttan, played by Mammooty, would have heard and understood the meaning of this philosophical song. It's his constant insecurity and fear of what are people gonna say that is actually his own biggest enemy, and he doesn't even realize that. Fear is born out of stories we tell ourselves. Human mind can either be a best friend or a destructor. And here is how I interpreted Puzhu, which means worm. When you think of a worm, you think of this harmless little thing that you can just ignore and walk away or even stomp on purpose and don't give a damn about it. But here in this film, this worm can be interpreted in so many ways. That's why I love the title selection of the film and the fact that there's a theatre play happening parallelly in the screenplay that foreshadows what's to come. This worm can be Kuttan's own insecurities and fear of getting killed. This worm can also be Kuttan's brother-in-law, Kuttappan, whom he hates with utmost disgust and considers him as useless as a worm whom he can just walk over. Puzhu can also be Kuttan's own mind, which is telling him all these stories, and he doesn't even realize the dark place it ends up taking him to. This film is not just Kuttan's test of character, but also our test as an audience as to which side you're on. Because at times you root for Kuttan, you have sympathy for him, especially when he tries to make his son like him with some jokes and you feel his helplessness. But at the same time, you dislike his actions of being way too strict. Almost borderline child abuse, by the way. The way he treats his own child for his own good, apparently. The hatred for lower caste brother-in-law stems from the way he has lived his life, thinking of himself and his caste being superior, and it seems as if he's trying to inculcate those same beliefs to his son as well when he asks him to stop meeting his friend Amir, who is not just from a different caste but a different religion and community too. He never approves of his own sister because of her choosing to marry Kuttappan, and blames her for making their lives hell in the society they live in, including his mother, quite literally, who is bedridden. This is Ratina's first film, and it's not the most extraordinary film in the world because it has got its fair share of flaws. But, and I say this but in capitals, that this is a very, very impressive debut, not just to make Mammootty live the character, but also making sure he doesn't overdo it and keep it subtle with undertones, because a director, especially a first-time director, can easily get carried away with a megastar being the lead on the project. So credit to Ratina for being able to tell the story the way it's intended to. It's just so refreshing to see a huge star selecting a film and a role like this and making sure that the larger-than-life persona doesn't really come across on the screen. I mean, you just don't realize that this is Mamuka. You're absolutely convinced from the first frame that this is Kuttan until the climax where it all ends. Coming back to the film, as I said, it's a flawed film. There are a few areas which could have been either avoided or edited better. For example, the business meetings in the first half are nothing but mere fillers, which serves not a lot of purpose in the larger context of the film. The flashbacks are loosely glued into the film, which randomly come and go, especially at the end, where a lot is happening way too quickly. So you are revealed a lot of important things in a matter of few minutes, which could have probably been told in a more structured way, probably, to give the film a more organic ending, rather than what we got right now, a very muffled and indifferent sort of climax, which is a bit much to take at the end. It's like, you boil the milk on slow simmer only to find out that the milk is actually expired and is spoiled by the time it comes to full boil. Performance-wise, I think Mammootty absolutely owned the film, every single frame that he was in. And everybody else also, lent equal support and played their part with brilliance. Credit to Parvathy as well for coming on board, and when there was not a lot of focus on her, but still, she takes the spotlight in the scenes that she's in and delivers another clinical performance like a pro. Special mention to the child actor as well, who did very, very well as Kichu, because it's one thing to play a character and it's another when you have literally every scene with Mammootty, and you have to, avoid getting intimidated as an actor, even more so when your character is supposed to get intimidated. It's definitely a one-time watch, if nothing more. And if you're a Mammootty fan, then even a flawed film like this will become a tad bit more enjoyable. Just to see the sheer genius of this man's skills. And even if you're a cinephile and not a Mammootty fan, I'm sure you would still enjoy the slow death of the worm. Thank you for visiting All Things Cinema Podcast. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon. You know the drill. And if you're an existing subscriber, then thank you so much already.